Good evening, everyone. Today is the 4th of May, and we're talking about all the things. And one of the things that we're talking about today is teacher appreciation. And so we're going to do a little bit of a different format today, which I kind of like. I want to start out, and I think I'm going to be doing this in the next couple of weeks, explaining or telling you why we're learning the things we're learning. Because I think sometimes we get to a certain spot and we say, why am I learning this? Or what is Elena talking about? Or I'm not interested in this. But it all comes back to how you operate your business and also how do you stay healthy. So the things that I'm talking to you about every single week have to do with how we stay healthy, what it is that's going on, and also putting it in context for you within what's going on right now. So I know for many of you, wherever I'm reaching you, you may still be in quarantine or you may still be in lockdown or in shelter in place. And here in Jersey, we're still in shelter in place. And I think we're going to be here at least through the end of May. If you're in other parts of the world, you may have different shelter in place orders. So first thing I want to do is I want to say hello to everybody, but I want to make sure that I know everybody who's new. So if you could go right into the chat right now and tell me who's new today, who's never been here before, who doesn't know the lay of the land on this call, because I'd always like to find out who's new. And last week we actually had quite a few new people. So I want to make sure that we're talking specifically to you. So, we got a couple of new people. Hello, Geraldine, welcome. Hello, Sabrina, love to see you here. Hey, Jolene, thanks so much for being with us today. Really exciting that we have new people. And Eugenia, hi, nice to see you, nice to meet you. And tell me who invited you to this call. I'm always so excited to find out. How'd you find out about us? Was it something that somebody said? Was it word of mouth? Maybe you found us online, which is actually becoming more and more popular right now. Oh, word of mouth. Great, Jolene. Terrific. Upline. Okay, so I'm going to show you my slides. But before I show you my slides, I want to first of all tell you it is Teacher Appreciation Week. And tomorrow specifically is Teacher Appreciation Day. And while I'm not a professional teacher, I don't go into a classroom every day, like many of you probably do. And for those of you who are professional teachers, you're probably thinking, oh, she's not a teacher, she's a phony. I try to do my best. And I feel like it's our job or our responsibility, if you will, as doTERRA members, as doTERRA wellness advocates, as doTERRA sharers, to really make sure that we're always teaching and providing information. It's that value added that helps people to stay in our groups, to keep purchasing essential oils, and to really learn about it and be able to do it all themselves. What's funny is, so quick reveal here, before I got on, I had no lipstick on, and I actually smushed it around with my finger, so you can see my finger still has a lipstick on it. So I'm avoiding touching anything with my finger. So here we go. Word of mouth for you too, Eugenia. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for telling us. So let me share my screen with you, and then I'm going to introduce our speaker. Today's speaker is a very good friend of mine, and it's interesting. We're kind of newer friends, although we've both been living in the same town, knowing the same people for literally years and years, and we didn't have the opportunity to connect until I would say, over the last year, more or less. And about 8 months ago, I actually came to her and said, help me, what do I do? And it's been an eye-opener and also quite a journey. And you're gonna see some before and after slides. And you better not tell how messy my closets were before I met Lori. So this is a secret, although it's coming out on YouTube. So it won't be a secret very much longer, but now I'm neat. And if I were to run upstairs with my camera and just take a quick photograph, you'd see that everything has stayed neat and tidy, which is really kind of cool. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. I'm just going to give a quick shout out to Lori. I know I can't see her right now because I'm on the spotlight video, but I did see her when I first got on, so I know she's here. And I'm going to be introducing her personally and have her online with you in about 5 minutes. But let's go through those quick specials. Okay, so most of you know me at this point. I don't think there's any doubt what I'm all about, what we're doing here, why we're here. I think sometimes we we have a new person. Hopefully somebody said to you, hey, this is why you're going to this online sharing. I think you'll really enjoy it. But our main goal, especially now during coronavirus, is to help you care for your family and friends. So the tips I'm going to give you, the things we're going to talk about, all about you supporting your family and friends, because that's really our most, that's our critical message right now. Okay, National Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you to our teachers. Usually I thank our Presidential Diamond team. I do want to say thank you to them. I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I have a thank you to them, obviously, at the end, to all of you, but thank you to our teachers, and each and every one of you are a teacher in one way or another. Okay, what are we going to do today? Today we're going to recap the monthly specials. Why? Because as leaders in doTERRA, we memorize them and then know how to use them all month long. If you don't know the specials in your market, really, you have to memorize them. Here's the other thing, our world has gotten very small. So even if you're not working in a certain market, you want to make sure that you know how to find those specials, whether it's US specials or specials within your region. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to learn from our guest speaker, Lori Bailey, who I mentioned to you before. She's from Miss Organized One, about getting things cleaned out. And why? Because it's not just stuff, my friends. It's emotional baggage and unfinished business that's standing in your way. You're going to learn how to get rid of it and blast your business forward. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience, how it's changed me and the way I see my business, but also how I think it's going to help all of you. May monthly specials. I'm going to start with US and then we're going to work our way around the globe. So here we are in the US. I don't know if this is the photo that I used last month, but this is the George Washington Bridge, I believe. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong. This is looking towards the New Jersey side, I believe. So you're actually looking in towards my hometown. Number one on the hit parade, if you're in the US, the Power of Three, the product of the month, is a new oil, or I don't want to call it new because I don't know if they're going to offer it for sale permanently, but an oil called Citrus Twist. So I was talking to my husband about it, and we were making jokes about how it's very similar to Citrus Bliss, which is another product that the company has out, but really kind of different. And I'm going to tell you what's in it and why you maybe want to get yourself one, especially if you're in the US. So what is Citrus Twist? It's a blend of wild orange, lemongrass, litsea, and ginger a ginger CO2 extract, which is kind of cool. So what does ginger do? It's a cleanser, it's a detoxifier, it's a lung supporter. So you can diffuse it to bring a bit of warm sunshine into any room. You can use it to uplift mood. I find that we've been here, I'm starting my 8th week in shelter in place. Sometimes tempers get a little bit short, which is not a good thing. So we want to make sure that everybody's staying calm, cool, and collected, right? Luckily, our weather is finally getting better. Finally, over the last, I want to say 3 to 4 weeks, we haven't had more than one really good day, like a sunny day, maybe one a week. So that's been kind of troubling. And as I'm looking out my window right now, my windows are over there on the left. We really have a nice day. Yesterday we were able to sit outside. We haven't been able to eat outside because it's a little bit chilly. Also, the room that we eat in, we have a sunroom in our house. It's total mess after the winter, but we're getting there. We're moving everything around. It's going to be great, and I'll take some pictures for you. You can use it to uplift, as I said, and the last thing is it's a perfect blend to diffuse during the change of season and other transitions. Now, in the chat, tell me how many of you have already heard that you're getting out of quarantine or shelter in place or lockdown, that you have an actual date. So let me know in the chat. Do you have an actual date or you don't have an actual date? Because this is going to be important for us. Second thing I want to talk to you about is the Respond Kit. This is kind of interesting. Respond Kit, know it's available in the US. It's also going to be available in a few countries outside of the US. And I've been hearing you all on the chat group saying, yes, it's available. No, it's not available. If the Respond kit is not available to you, take a picture of this, because this really is the group of oils that you need to be responding to your family's needs. So you're helping to keep everyone at home comfortable, using natural products to help you respond to any situation, and you have exactly what you need at your fingertips. So everything from frankincense, which is kind of like frankincense, and lavender, which are our Swiss Army knives of essential oils, good for just about everything. Relaxation, centering the mind, cuts and burns, right? Caring for the skin. Lemon for cleaning and disinfection. Breathe for supporting the lungs. Peppermint also for cleansing, also uplifting the spirits. And then our two powerhouses, or what I'm going to call our two powerhouses there, that are holding up this pyramid on the bottom row. Adaptive on the right. Mental stress, right? Keeping us calm, cool, and collected. I'm actually diffusing adaptive in my office now. I've been pulling out all the stops and just basically saturating our house with essential oils, especially now that my doors and windows are beginning to be open. The oil is just kind of, it's going real fast, but that's a good thing, right? We want as much essential oil in our environment as we can get. And finally, copaiba. I love copaiba with everything. It hardly smells, it hardly tastes like anything, and yet it is a magical powerhouse. I don't know how else to describe it. I blend it with other things, and when in doubt, I use my copaiba, and I keep a stash of it here in the house because I really love it that much. If I have to apply essential oils on my skin, I'll apply it with the copaiba because I feel like it's that important. Okay, here's another one, the Protect Kit. Again, offered in May. So you have your On Guard spray and your oil, and then you've got your tea tree, your Purify, and your bergamot, all great for sanitizing, cleansing, disinfecting, right? And you've got your cool little diffuser. We're going to talk about a little bit more about specifically diffusers at the end. And then a brand new diffuser called the Pilot. Now I have to say, I have used small diffusers like this in the past. I don't know anything about the Pilot because I haven't had a chance to get my hands on one yet. I imagine that it's the same high quality diffusers that doTERRA always offers, because I have to say, we may pay a little bit more for doTERRA diffusers, but they are super reliable and just workhorses. I have a few doTERRA diffusers that I've used here forever, just forever and ever. Okay, Singapore. I love this picture. Everybody knows where this is. This is the pool on top of the, actually, if you know where it is, type it in. Type it into the chat. Tell me, where is this pool? I don't want to say, especially if you haven't been to Singapore yet, but I know a lot of you know. Okay, Hari Raya. Yes, it's coming up. I haven't been in Southeast Asia for Hari Raya, I guess in 2 or 3 years. If my dear friends Swan B and Sihan are on the line, maybe you can tell me what year it is. You'll probably tell me, oh no, it's more like 3 years, my friend. But what do we want for Hari Raya? Excellent for cleansing, right? Getting ready for this new period. Everybody's celebrating. Oregano, celery seed, and lemon eucalyptus, which in Malaysia are limited editions. So this is a cool trio that you want to put together for those of you who are trying to support your liver. This is a great combination for supporting your liver. What I would be doing is I would be diffusing the lemon eucalyptus. I would be applying the celery seed over my liver every day, or if you're bold, you can take a drop under your tongue or in water or in a capsule, and then I'd be putting the oregano on my feet. This is a great 1, 2, 3 punch, if you will, to support your immune system. Okay, we all know about tea tree. If you're in Singapore, here's your tea tree roll-on. As we know, it is blended with fractionated coconut oil, cleanse and purifies the skin and nails, healthy complexion, all the things that we know and love tea tree for. And tea tree and Melaleuca are now interchangeable. You may have some older bottles that say Melaleuca and some newer ones that say tea tree, but it is the same product and you should continue to use it. So this is your free before the 15th of the month with an LRP of 125 PV. Okay, Petitgrain. Love petitgrain. It's one of our less common or less popular, maybe just because it's newer, citrus oil. So it's terrific for calming. You want to also balance it out and blend it with other oils like cassia, cinnamon, eucalyptus, geranium, and lemongrass. I specifically love it with certain sweeter oils because it does have kind of a sharp aroma. I like to think of it as grapefruit on steroids. That's what it is. It's like a very strong grapefruit. You can add a few drops of petitgrain with lavender or bergamot to sleep really well. It has a similar chemical profile to lavender. So if you're a person who says, you know what, I really don't love lavender, no, I'm supposed to love it, but I just don't, try petitgrain. I think you'll find that it has a very similar, not only similar chemical profile, but will bring you a similar effect. You can add it to fractionated coconut oil for relaxing massage, and you can also use it for skin imperfections. So petitgrain, great essential oil, and now at 10% off, great thing to try. Okay, enrollment promo. I'm not going to go through the whole enrollment promo, but you do know that you have the In Bloom enrollment promotion, which is going to go through the 31st of May, depending on how many enrollments you have during the month. So whether it's anywhere from 2 to 21, you can get all these really cool individual oils, not blended with fractionated coconut oil. So this is a big deal, folks. To be able to win the Rose, which is the really super expensive one, you only need 6 new enrollments, which is really cool. They have to be enrollments of 100 PV or more, but honestly, if I could get an extra bottle of Rose, that's a really good thing. We know that Rose is sold retailed in the United States, and that it is, oh my gosh, it's over $200 a bottle. So that's a really big promo. Okay, Malaysia. This is another beautiful picture. If you know where this is, tell me where I am as I show you this picture. Another beautiful infinity pool. Okay. Again, your product of the month is between the 1st and the 15th is your tea tree roll-on. Your 10% off is clove. Great for disinfecting, especially if you've been in the house for a while. I had clove going in my kitchen yesterday. I tend to think of it as more of a fall product rather than a spring product, but it is a great antiseptic. So keep it in mind, run it through your diffuser periodically, kind of switch it up. I've been switching up my essential oils every single day, so I get different sorts of stimulation of my brain, of my olfactory system, of my immune system, my emotions, right? I think it's important for us to kind of switch it up every day. Again, the In Bloom promotion. In Malaysia, Hinoki, Jasmine, and Rose, 3 of my personal favorites. And I have to say, I think I still have a bottle of Jasmine that I won, I want to say about a year ago. I may even have two bottles because I love this enrollment promotion, and I love Hinoki. I don't get it a lot here in the United States. It is not available for sale, or at least it's never been available for sale in my market. So whenever I've had the chance to get my hands on a bottle, I jump at the chance. New here, hey, from May 1st onwards, adaptive essential oil and adaptive roll-on. If you haven't had the opportunity to try adaptive, it really is a great new addition to the product line and a great balancer for emotions. So it's keeping, I think, our family kind of in on a steady state, and I'd love for you to try it. Let me know if you've tried the adaptive and you've had good results. Tell me in the chat, is it something that you've tried already? Regardless of what market you were in, maybe you went to convention, even if you didn't get one through your market, you ordered it and you got a bottle online and you're trying it, or you tried it already. Let me know, have you used it and do you like it? Okay, also new here, Tamer, Brave, and Rescuer from the children's line. So I love the children's line, and I'll tell you why. I love it for adults and for children. The reason I love the children's line is because they are very simplified blends. They typically have 3 or 4 ingredients only. They are blended with fractionated coconut oil. I love them for the elderly. I love them for people that are just starting out on their journey with essential oils. They are very mild. They're not going to upset the skin in any way. These are great backup oils. And I recently was talking to someone who is trying very hard to support her elderly mother. And I recommended actually some of these blends to her. I think they're a great addition. If you haven't tried them, also let me know in the chat, have you tried the kids blends? Do you like them? And what do you think? What are you using for? Do you have kids or are you using them for another usage? Because I'd like to hear both things. And actually, I'm shifting around a little bit on my chair today. I have a brand new chair. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's a stool because I set up a new broadcasting studio here, a new live streaming studio, and I didn't get a chair. So I actually got a chair from my kitchen. I'm going to show you what it is because you're going to go, oh man, now I understand. Okay, you ready? Wooden stool, right? Not very comfortable. It's what we would call in Spanish a rompeculo, which basically means it's breaking my backside. And so if you see me kind of wiggling around, now you know why. Okay, next. 150 PV LRP program extended to June 30th. So this is something that you want to make sure that you are taking advantage of. Finally, Philippines. This is actually a beautiful shot. Who knows what city this is? If you know the city, type it for me in the chat. I want to know who's been to the Philippines. Do you know where this is? I want to hear all the things, okay? And we're getting a lot of comments in the chat. I'm so excited. Enrollment promotion here from doTERRA again, Bountiful Blooms. Product of the month is grapefruit, a great detoxifier and cleanser. 10% off spearmint. Grapefruit and spearmint together, especially in a diffuser, are wonderful if you are helping small children to either focus or with concentration. Spearmint may be the way for you to go. It's a little bit more mild than peppermint, so I think you're going to really like the smell. And finally, extended to May 15th, free shipping. So no shipping fee for every purchase of Philippine pesos 2,000 and up worth. And if it's on a single receipt, yes. And then 5 free product points for every single purchase of products with PV. And then a free hand and body spa lotion. Enroll now and you can get this free hand and spa lotion. I have to say, I know that wherever you are doing everything in your power to support your teams and to reach out. I know some of you are still in Diamond Club. We've got people here in Diamond Club in the US. My heart, my hat, I tip my hat to you and my heart goes out to you because I know in this particular moment in time, it is at least twice as hard to be able to reach out to people, to see them on a regular basis, to connect with them, to follow up. So if you're doing all the things, I appreciate everything that you're doing. I know what it's all about, I really do. Okay, so did you know that on May 5th, we celebrate Happy Appreciation Day? So I'm gonna quickly run through these slides really fast, just like 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna take down the slides and I'm gonna introduce Lori and we're gonna chat right in front of you, which should be really fun. We're about a half an hour in, and I'm sorry, I got started a little bit late, but I know that you're ready to hear from Lori, and that and I know she's patiently waiting for me to just shut up and get to it. All right, Elena, let's go. Here we go. So I pride myself on being a lifelong learner and teacher, which stems either from my mother, who was a teacher and elementary school principal, or from the fact that I'm a Gemini and I never do the same thing twice. There's always something new that I'm trying to figure out, do better, or expand. So I'm so happy to introduce you all to my friend, Lori Bailey, who's been teaching me so much over the past few months. You can find her on Instagram at MissOrganized1, and she's super enthusiastic. I think you're just gonna love her. So these are some photos of my own personal house. So yes, that was my closet up on the upper left and my pantry on the upper right. And that's what they look like now. So I have to say, talk about getting rid of stuff, freeing your mind. mind, just helping you to feel so much better. And you can, whatever you want to say, you can be like, what? Can you imagine that's how messy she was? Yep, that's how messy I was. But now I am neat and I just love it. Okay, so today I'm showing my appreciation for Lori. So this new teacher that I've gained in my life, and I'm showing her, I want her to share with us some of the skills and things that she helped me with, and I know are going to help you. And then finally, I want you to show appreciation for the most influential teachers in your life by sending them a handwritten letter, perhaps, or a note, a little gift. We're going to have more recommendations for you for teachers on the blog. So if you tune into the blog, if you're able to get on there later this afternoon, actually the blog will be posted first thing in the morning. So after you can hear this presentation, you can pass it along to teachers that you know, and then you'll be able to actually see the blog. So let me get out of this presentation and stop the share. Oops, there we go. And I'm going to cancel the spotlight. And let's get into all the things with Lori. So can everybody, hold on, Lori, I have to unmute you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Hey, there she is.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Elena, for allowing me to be a guest on your call today. It's really such a pleasure to be able to guide everybody and teach our listeners all the wonderful tips and things that I've shared with you over the past 7-8 months. But I want to start out by just sort of saying, hi, Megan. I want to just start out by saying organizing is a mindset. It's about purging and letting go of things that no longer suit you. It's about gaining clarity in your space, whether it be a small space or a big space. And then a feeling of relief when you're done, which is what Elena has experienced. So it's sort of like a process that we have to go through. We've all been in quarantine for a while now. And I know we're probably so tired of all of our spaces. Can't wait to get outside and whatever. But the truth is we really have to work towards gaining clarity and peacefulness in your space. So I'm going to kind of take you through some of my most favorite tips and guide you on a journey like I did with Elena, but this is going to be more virtual. So the first tip, which is my key tip for almost everything, is that everything in your home has to have a home. Everything has to have a home. Where does it belong? You know, do you have piles of papers on your counter? Do you have clothing hung over a chair? Do you have toys that are out, but they really should be put away? All these things are really important. And I always ask my clients questions when I go through their home with them. Do you need it? Do you wear it? Do you use it? It's kind of a test. If you really aren't using it or haven't used it in a year, you most likely don't need it. And you wouldn't miss it if it left your home. So I always say that you should thank it for its service and let it go. Purge it. And the more you purge, the more you gain clarity and the better you feel with less clutter. It just is a fact. I always use the word prime real estate, which is something I think we all need to learn. And I'm going to explain what prime real estate is. When you have a closet and you have a tiny closet and you have limited space in your apartment or home, and you have one shelf that's full of Christmas items, do you think that those Christmas items should be placed on a shelf in a pantry that you're using items every day? Probably not. So my big thing is to shift those items out of the pantry, making room for things that you do use every day. Things that are prime, that's a prime real estate spot. So having Christmas platters on a shelf in your pantry is probably not ideal. So oftentimes I always suggest that we shift to make room for the things that we really do use every day. So that's my number one tip. Everything has to have a home. My second tip is organizing your desk and workspace. This is a huge thing for being at the top of your game with work, with zero distractions. Everybody should have a clear and focused desk area. In doing so, my number one solution would be to have a filing system. I know that we are all in a very digital era, and most things we pay our bills online and all of that stuff is online. But there's something very important and tactile about having everything in a folder from A to Z and everything in between. And the way I organize my folders is by category. So for example, I'll have a medical folder, which is an outer folder, and then subfolders within that folder. So the subfolders might be, you know, all of your children, your husband, your wife, anybody that's in your home. And then your subfolders would be under medical. You could do it for school. You could do it for credit cards. You could do it for mortgage, you know, car leases. Anything that you may have should have a folder. And often there are times when you need to access something and it's quick. It's quick and easy. So you have your filing system. It's all labeled and organized with a label maker, which is another thing that I'll link in the slide deck. Elena has my special label maker that I live for. And I just think it's really important to have all your papers filed away. So there shouldn't be papers on your desk. They should be filed away. And the number one thing you could have is a to-do file. And it sticks right in the front. So if you have to-do and pending things that you need to take care of, you can have that, but it just is sort of hidden away. And then you pull the folder out, you do the things on your to-do list, and then you put it back. So it has a home. And the second thing with your office is drawer desk organizers. I think when you pull out a drawer and everything slides around, that doesn't feel so good. But if you have little clear plastic drawer organizers to separate all of your items, it makes you feel really good. Everything has a spot. So your markers and your tape and your staples and any extra supplies sort of have its own little home within your drawer. And I think it makes you feel really good when you pull out the drawer and you see all of it, you know, all organized. And honestly, you should also have a diffuser with oil in your office for sure. I have one in mine. I diffuse every day and I love it. I tend to go for the citrus oils because I feel like that's something Elena has taught me. It just makes me feel really clear. I also think you should go through your mail every day. Mail is very, very important. Eliminate the junk mail right off the bat. You shouldn't have piles of mail piled up on your desk because there's no reason for it. Organizing your mail, putting bills in the to be paid pile, putting, you know, magazines in a pile to read, and then junk mail gets recycled. So that's my tip for your desk and work area. And my last and final tip, which is one of my favorites, and Elena can attest to this, is that everybody in your family should have something called a memory bin. And a memory bin is almost like the story of our life. I kind of feel like it's the story that we've told through our lifetime. And I'm going to explain what a memory bin does and its purpose, and then you're going to see how amazing this memory bin will be as you move forward and sort of purge through your home. So a memory bin is usually a clear plastic bin and it has a top. And we label it so everyone in the home gets their own memory bin. And in the memory bin are things that you've collected through the years. Everything from a baby rattle to a first birthday gift to cards that might mean something to you, to ticket stubs, to the wedding invitation, to anything that means something to you that you cannot throw away. And you won't throw away, and you don't need to throw it away. There's no need to throw everything away. But if all those little items are taking up a ton of space in your home, whether they're in all your drawers or your cabinets, and you find them wherever you go, and you start removing them and placing them in a memory bin with your name on it, then you free up all that space in your house for essential items, things that you do need, not things that are just a memory. So I establish a memory bin with every single one of my clients. And as you go through your home and purge, you place items in your memory bin. The trophy that's taking up space in your kid's home, kid's room, they go right into the memory bin. Then the memory bin gets stored. If you own a home, it could be in an attic or a garage or shelving somewhere. If you own an apartment and you live in a small space, maybe there's a storage area in your basement that you could put a shelving rack and put the memory bin on that. But the bottom line is, it doesn't have to be large. It just has to be there, because you will learn to love it and use it. And as you go through your home and purge, you'll get excited. Oh, this is going to go in my memory bin. And it's truly my favorite thing. And the thing is, we all get so emotional purging, and purging is really, really hard for most people. We are attached to our things. We don't want to let them go. We don't think we can live without them. And so I'm going to give you a little suggestion of 10 things that you can start by purging that you have zero emotion attached to, zero. And I'm going to list them. And as I list them, Elena, you can type them out. And these are things that you can purge today to start you on your journey of gaining clarity and feeling good about your home and making your space just freeing and releasing all that clutter. Okay, so the first thing you're going to purge are hangers from the dry cleaner. We all collect them. We all have them, and they're stuck in our closet between all these pretty hangers that you should have. So hangers go. Shoes that hurt your feet. We all have the expensive shoe. Oh, but we love it and we have to wear it. But then when we put them on, they're awful and they hurt, and you really, really, really don't want to wear them, and you end up taking them off with blisters on the back of your feet. Let them go. They're not going to be good for you. Clothing with stains. That's a really good one. I know if you're in your house and you're just sort of wearing something that's yucky, but then you run out and you don't realize you're wearing it, doesn't really look so good, so maybe let that go. Cookbooks that you never open. I really believe that cookbooks are kind of important for memories if you have certain recipes that are family heirlooms, but most people can get their recipes online, and cookbooks take up a lot of room. So I would purge some of those. Broken electronics. We all have something that's broken in our house, or cords that we don't know what they go to, or electronics that we've, let go of, but we don't even think they work anymore, or whatever. Let those go. Vases that come from flower shops. Those are really sort of on the cheaper side. And I feel like you have beautiful vases in your home that you could use. If you bring home a bouquet of flowers, you don't need the cheap ones. So let those go. Trophies from your childhood. I really do believe that you should keep a couple special ones in your child's memory bin, or your memory bin for that matter, and let the rest go. We do not need 30 trophies. And you could also donate trophies to kids that don't have any. I've had a couple people do that, and they've donated to areas of, lower income home areas that people just don't have trophies, and the kids get excited. So you could always donate those, but let them go. And two more things: expired coupons. We all tend to carry around coupons thinking we're going to use them, and then they expire, but we keep holding on to them. So let those go. And the last and final thing I have for you is a manual, a user manual from items that you no longer own. And we all save these user manuals, but the truth is you don't need them. And in honesty, you don't really need any user manuals anymore, because you can look everything up online. So all this stuff that takes up space and all these things that I just listed are truthfully things that you have zero, emotional attachment to. So if you can let some of those things go and sort of begin the process of purging on a simple level, it may make you feel better in the end. So to kind of wrap it up, Elena has been so kind to, you know, be my student, my A-plus student. I've loved working with her. We whipped through her home. I trained her. I taught her. I empowered her with the knowledge to be able to keep up the system that we set in place. She's an amazing, you know, role model to me as well, and an entrepreneur. And I just loved working with her in her space. You really need to trust the person that's in your home, because you really are in their home with them, going through their personal items that mean a lot to them. So it's very emotional. And I really, you know, feel like if you can connect with someone, it's really important to sort of allow them to help you to purge and gain clarity in your home. So I did have Elena link 3 of my most favorite things. A label maker is really important to have. There's one label maker that I really love. It's a P-Touch, and it is a universal, you know, universal international USB plug. So it charges internationally. So if you don't live in the US, you can still use it. And it actually links to your smartphone, and you can print whatever you want, any design you want. It's fantastic. I also really love Lazy Susans. That's another one of my little key tricks of telling people how to organize. I think when you have a deep cabinet and you can't see in the back, having a Lazy Susan with all of your items rotating is just brilliant. And I feel like Lazy Susans could be used in any area of your home. You can use it in your pantry for oils and vinegar. You can use it in your kitchen cabinet for your vitamins and Advil and Tylenol and medicines. You can use it under your sink for your sprays and your bleaches. You can use it under your bathroom sink for soaps. It's just, it's so versatile. I love Lazy Susan. So that's another really key thing that I think everyone should own. Drawer organizers, we have a link for that as well. They're clear, they're plastic. They don't have to be this exact one that I showed, but I have to tell you that if you measure your drawer properly and then you sort of play around with it and fit in all the pieces, you can have little spaces for everything you need. And it just makes you feel so good when you open up your drawer and nothing is shifting around on you. Memory bins, I didn't link that, but you could literally go on to Amazon and click in clear storage plastic containers, and it will give you, you know, a gazillion choices. And I love the clear because you can see inside of it. So if for some reason you don't have a label maker, you can see, oh, that's Joey's stuff or that's Elena's stuff. And I like the clear because it allows you to see inside. And I think that might be it. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'm available if on Misorganized One, if you ever want to message me. I do virtual organizing with people through FaceTime and Zoom. And, you know, sometimes just small spaces can be challenging. Big spaces can be challenging. People have papers and piles and clutter, and they just walk right by their room and they don't know where to begin. And I can help you with that. Does anybody have any questions for me?
So first of all, I want to say thank you so much, Lori. Thank you so much for being on. Those were some great tips. And I actually typed all of Lori's tips in the chat if you weren't able to get on there yet. I have to say, Lori works really well virtually, and I'll tell you how that works. Basically, what she does is she gets on with you FaceTime, or you send a picture of your space, and it could just be one single space. I have to say, when I first started with Lori, I had a really messy closet, not one of the ones that you saw, another one actually. And I contacted Lori because I was really just getting desperate. And I took pictures of the space and I said, hey, this is what I have and I need to go through it. Can you help? One of the first things she said to me was, you're going to need to empty out the closet. And so we were able to kind of pace through it on a in a systematic way. Let's put it that way, in a systematic way. I do know that she's worked virtually with other clients of mine outside of, we're both in the New Jersey area, outside of the New Jersey area. So if you're someone who says, you know what, I have this troublesome space, I'm just really not sure how to organize, talk to Lori. You can always send her a photograph. You can get in contact with her. I'm going to have all her contact information at the end of the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be in the show notes. It's also going to be on the blog starting tomorrow. Lori is on Instagram at, I'm going to type it in again here.
Thank you.
At Miss
You're welcome. It was my pleasure to share. I really hope that I helped you, you know, with something, with one area at least.
So I'm going to challenge everyone who's here. Number one is, who has a challenging area in their house? Tell me in the chat, who's got a challenging area in the house? And for all you super neat people, it's okay. I get it. You don't have a challenging area.
There's no judgment ever. No judgment ever. You should only know what we've ever seen. See?
Okay, so someone with an iPhone says me. Hannah says me. Someone else says super messy. Marie
How
says
about my whole house?
Love it.
You're so welcome.
So I would say Sabrina says my work desk is a disaster.
My work desk is a disaster. See what? So what do you think you can change with your work area? What do you think you can do to sort of simplify the area by what I shared with you? Maybe you could set up a filing system.
Yep.
I don't, you know.
Maybe go through some files. I also find sometimes that it's, I don't want to say fun, because sorting and cleaning is not always fun, but it can be more productive if you do it with another person who's objective. So if you don't have someone in your household because you live alone, maybe you want to invite over your sister or a friend and say to them, hey, I'll cook dinner and could you help me with this one area? The other thing that I love that Lori said was, break it down. Don't try to do your whole house all at once. You're right, Lori. It can be therapeutic, but sometimes you can you throw everything up in the air and then you just get frustrated because it's like on your heart, oh my gosh, my whole place now is a mess.
Right. One area.
Together.
Yeah.
We worked area by area. So maybe you know, if you had one area that you had to pick, what would you tell them to start with that's going to make them feel the most satisfied? Is it the worst area or the one they're in contact with the most?
No,
what do you think?
I think it has to be the easiest area first so that they're not scared. Like if you have a really bad room, like a scary room that you just literally walk by, do not start with that first, because that will intimidate you and you won't do it. I'm telling you, you won't do it. You'll just keep walking by it because it's a scary, overwhelming process to tackle that. So I think you have to start with something small to empower yourself with the knowledge that you can do it. And then once you've done something little, then you can move to something bigger. And eventually, I would say if you have a really bad room, do one corner. Just go into one corner at a time. Maybe it's like 10 shopping bags filled with stuff that you've just sort of dumped in there. And maybe go in on the day one and say, okay, today I'm gonna go through 3 shopping bags. That's it, 3 shopping bags, and tackle it a little at a time. But the issue when you tackle a room like that is, where is all that stuff going? You can't tackle a room without finding a place for it. So you almost have to start backwards in a way and maybe create a memory bin so that when you go into a room like that and you tackle it, you have a home for the items that you're finding. So you almost have to start like a little bit. You can't just walk into a room and say, where am I putting all of this? Because you have no place to put it. So you need to sort of establish a little bit of a system and then tackle a room.
Yeah. Okay. I love that tip.
Shopping bags.
So I will say, bags of bags. Yep. Okay. So my last things, because I want to bring it all back to, how does this help your business, right? So how does this help your business? What I found was that those messy spots were kind of always weighing on me, weighing on my mind, weighing on my heart. And when I actually took the time to kind of get it done, it was able to free up more mental space that I needed to be able to do the things that I needed to do. And so freeing up that mental space, even if it just meant freeing up my desk, it meant that when I went to work, I was able to sit down, concentrate, and really do the things that I needed to do. So thank you so much, Lori, for having been with us.
Thank you for having me on. So great.
It was a pleasure. It was really a pleasure.
Oh, what about clothing that you can't fit into or that you can't fit in your closet?
Doesn't fit on your body or doesn't fit in your closet? Let us know.
Yeah.
So I want to just mention.
It doesn't fit on your body. Okay. That's a tough one. I would say, and this is kind of what I always say, if you gain weight or lose weight, okay, and you have something that's really, really, really super special, I would keep it. But if it's just everyday common outfits, I would let it go, because what I always say is if you lose weight again, you're going to want to treat yourself to something new. You're not going to want to hold on to something that you've had that you're going to get back into. So if it really doesn't fit you, I would let it go. And when you lose the weight, as a treat to yourself, you treat yourself to something new. That's what I would say.
That's a great tip. Okay. Oh, and we got a thumbs up from Megan. That's terrific.
Oh, good.
Oh, should I discard my wedding gown? I would say no. That probably goes in your memory box. Yeah.
It would get put near the memory bins. Yes.
Yeah. Right. So I have to say the idea of the memory buns, listen to me, the memory buns is actually kind of a funny one in our house, because my kids and I all have a fairly sizable one, like 66 liters, which is a pretty big box. And my husband, I don't know what happened, but he basically threw out all his stuff. So his memory box is a shoebox.
Little.
But, right? That's all he needs. He doesn't save stuff. He throws everything away. And so whether your box is little or big, it's going to help you kind of put all those memories in one spot. What's funny is I actually put a lot of the memory stuff in my kids' boxes, and then I had them go through it. And when they went through it, some of the things that were in there, my son said to me, "This isn't a memory for me, Mom. I don't care." And then he threw it out from the memory box. So interesting. Yes. We all have our psychology, right? I'm going to also link an article that I recently read in Fast Company magazine that talked about the psychology of kind of cleaning out. All right. I've kept you long enough. Thank you, Lori. I hope you'll come back and talk to us another day.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
Thank you so much. And I hope that many of you will get in contact with Lori, either through her Instagram, or you will get in contact with her through the blog. We're going to have her contact information. Consult with her. That's what she's here for. I feel like sometimes we just need a second set of eyes that's totally detached, right? That doesn't say, "Oh my gosh, you saved all this stuff." She looks at your stuff like a professional, and that's what makes all the difference. Okay.
You're so welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Everybody's saying thank you. I hope you'll all say thank you to Lori. You can either give her a virtual clap, or you can turn on your camera. So excited. Oh, it's so sweet. Everybody's clapping. Agatha and Geraldine, that's so nice. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. You're making my day.
Okay, so today we're going to actually give away, sorry, I just have to clear my throat. We're going to give away a pair of items because I feel like they go together really well. And the pair of items are going to be an On Guard and a peppermint beadlets. So our winners are each going to win a pair of On Guard and peppermint beadlets. Thank you for staying on with us through this really long kind of rambling conversation that we've had today, but I hope it really brings you clarity as you're in your home and maybe you have this opportunity to kind of clean and purge and really start fresh, so that when you do get released from whatever it is that you've been you've sort of been trapped in. Now that we're ready to go. Okay, so our two winners today are, hold on, let me got my notebook right here. I got to write it down in my notebook, so don't forget. Today's Monday. And we're going to have a few more guest speakers coming up in the next few weeks. Tell us in the chat, are you glad we had a speaker? Nice to kind of change it up. I'm sure sometimes you're thinking, boy, that Elena, she talks too much. Nice to have somebody else on the chat from time to time on the call. Hey there, yep, I'm getting to see your faces, which is so wonderful. So our two winners today of the On Guard and the Peppermint Beadlets are, hold on. Whoops. I know we got so much activity in the chat. That was really good. Thank you all for being really responsive, and also for showing a really warm welcome to our guest. The last thing I want to mention to you is in the weeks ahead, we're going to be talking a lot more about diffusing. So next week, stay tuned. We're going to have a nice long conversation about diffusers and the quality, and maybe even some new sources for diffusers that you can use as gifts. So you're hearing even Lori is using a diffuser in her space. So we're going to have that available for you. Okay, so our two winners today are Agatha Diasin and Nelma Rose Sincere. Agatha Diasin and Nelma Rose Sincere, you are the winners of a peppermint and an On Guard beadlet. So thank you everyone who stayed on till the very end. This is a little bit of a longer call than we usually have, but really fun. Thank you to Lori for having joined us today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Monday. Watch in social media as always for the blog and for all the updates, and we'll be talking to you live in the next couple of days. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye now.